I wish you all a very good evening. So today we'll be discussing about a biological process popularly known as photosynthesis. So just let's get started. The term photosynthesis actually is composed of two root words. Okay, the term photosynthesis comes from two root words. The first word is photon. P-H-O-T-O-N, photon. Photon is basically the particles of light, and photons have negligible mass. Definitely we know, as per Einstein's theories, nothing can have zero mass in this universe. If something has zero mass, then the energy possessed by that body will also be zero. So definitely photons have some amount of mass, but yes, the mass is so low, so less, that we can imagine, we can expect, we can consider the mass to be negligible. We can take the mass zero. So photons are basically the particles of light. And synthesis, the word synthesis means production or preparation. Okay, that is the making of something. So synthesis means production, and photons are basically light. So the term photosynthesis basically means production of something at the presence of light. Okay? At the absence of light, photosynthesis cannot occur. That is why we say that photosynthesis is basically production at the presence of light. Now let us just know what is the process photosynthesis. Photosynthesis basically is carried out by plants, algae, and many cyanobacteria. Okay? Plants, algae, and cyanobacteria can carry out the process of photosynthesis. Although there are some animals also who can do photosynthesis, that's a special case. So here we'll be discussing about the peculiarity, the speciality of these three kinds of organisms: plants, algae, and cyanobacteria. They definitely must be having some kind of special characteristics. That is why they can do the process photosynthesis. What they do have is nothing but pigments. Specialized pigments, popularly known as chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is possessed by higher plants as well as algae. But there are many bacteria also who are having a specialized kind of chlorophyll, popularly known as bacteriochlorophyll. So chlorophyll is the pigment that helps in photosynthesis. And photosynthesis can be carried out, can be done by plants, algae, and cyanobacteria. Now we will just be knowing what is the purpose, what is the target of photosynthesis, what is the importance of photosynthesis. If photosynthesis wasn't there, what would have happened? Very clearly, photosynthesis is necessary for two purposes. The target of photosynthesis is basically divided into two ways. Number one is the production of glucose. Production of glucose is a very important purpose of photosynthesis. And what is glucose? Glucose is nothing but the element, basically it is a compound that is present inside the body of the organisms that can be broken down for the liberation of energy. Yes, we do need energy for every single thing that we do all the day long. We run, we eat, we sleep, we think, whatever we do, we need energy to carry out the processes. Not only those, there are a lot of metabolic processes which are regularly occurring inside the living cells. Okay, a lot of metabolic activities are occurring inside the living cells, such as respiration, digestion, circulation. Okay, and all these need energy, and the energy can be provided by the glucose molecules which are produced by the process of photosynthesis. So production of glucose is a very important target, a very important purpose of photosynthesis. The second most important target of photosynthesis is nothing but production of oxygen, including plants. All the living organisms, except for some virus, all the living organisms need oxygen for their survival. Now, why is oxygen so important for all the living individuals? Why is oxygen so important? Oxygen is very important for the living organisms because oxygen is necessary to carry out the process of respiration. Okay? Respiration is the process that is going on continuously inside the living cells to produce metabolic energy. So glucose are basically broken down by the process of respiration to release energy. Let me just wipe the board so it would be easier for you to see them. Okay, so glucose is broken down for the liberation of energy by the process of respiration. That is why glucose is very much important, and this respiration process requires oxygen. It requires continuous supply of oxygen. Yeah, but there are different kinds of respirations also, like the anaerobic respiration that doesn't require oxygen. We'll get back to that later. So that is the purpose of photosynthesis. Now let us just see how do plants do it. How do bacteria do it? How do the autotrophs? Plants are called autotrophs because plants are called autotrophs. Okay, auto means itself. Plants can prepare their food on their own. That is why plants are known as autotrophs. Okay, so the autotrophs can do the process of photosynthesis for the production of glucose and the liberation of oxygen. These two are the main purpose. Now just let us see what are the raw materials they need. For photosynthesis, plants, just let us imagine this is a small plant. It has some roots also. The root is a part of the plant body that is under the ground. Okay, so from the ground the roots are able to absorb water. The formula of water is H2O, we all know this. Water and minerals. Okay, minerals are basically some salts, some kind of salts. The water and minerals are being absorbed by the roots of the plant, and then they are transported to the leaves. Okay, and leaves are known as the kitchen of the plant's body because inside the leaves mostly plants carry out photosynthesis. Not only in the leaves, there are many green plants of the plant body. Okay, it may be the stem also. There are many plants who have green stem. Okay, the stem are very soft. So the stems can also help in the process of photosynthesis. So these are the leaves, and the plant can carry out the process of photosynthesis inside the leaves. Okay, so the requirement for photosynthesis is water, and another thing we need, that is atmospheric carbon dioxide gas. Carbon dioxide is present in the atmosphere almost 0.033%. And carbon dioxide gas is indispensable, is highly necessary for the plants to carry out the process of photosynthesis. Okay, so these are the raw materials of photosynthesis. And what we will be getting, what will we get at the end of the process, popularly known as photosynthesis? We have discussed it earlier only. The things that we are going to get are oxygen and glucose. These are the things that we are going to get. So, what will be the equation of photosynthesis? Let me write here. Now, what is this H nu? This is basically an H, and this is a twisted V like this. What is this? These two basically symbolize the energy of the sun ray. Okay, H nu is nothing but the H nu is the energy of the sun ray. Okay, so this is the reaction of photosynthesis that is going on inside the plants throughout the day for production of glucose. That is the main raw material for production of energy inside the body of the living individuals. Okay, so this is the purpose of photosynthesis. Alright, and another very important function of photosynthesis is that it has to maintain this 0.033% of carbon dioxide gas. Because we breathe in, we breathe out all the time. When we breathe in, we take the atmospheric air, and inside our lung, the atmospheric air is going, okay, and from the alveoli, these are the very small spherical chambers in our lung. Millions of chambers are out there. Inside the alveoli, there are a fine mesh of blood vessels. Okay, and inside the alveoli, oxygen of the atmospheric air that we are taking in is being absorbed, and carbon dioxide that is coming from the metabolically active tissues is released. Clear? And when we breathe out, the air that we breathe out contains considerably greater amounts of carbon dioxide. So what if the plants stop taking up the carbon dioxide gases? Just in several hours, the carbon dioxide present in the atmospheric air will rise to a great extent. And if carbon dioxide level rises, it will be a big problem for all of us, because CO2 is a greenhouse gas. Now we all are familiar with the term global warming, greenhouse gases and all. So CO2 is a greenhouse gas. It has the ability to trap the hot, it basically has the ability to trap heat in its molecule. Okay, so as heat is being trapped inside the carbon dioxide molecules, it will increase, it will enhance the global warming to a great extent. So definitely the level of CO2 is to be maintained. And definitely we need CO2 also. It is not like we can live without CO2. Why so? Because plants need CO2 for production of glucose. Glucose is a molecule that has carbon. A single glucose molecule has 6 carbon atoms. C6H12O6 is the formula of glucose, and very clearly we can see that a single glucose molecule has 6 atoms of carbon. Okay, so carbon dioxide is a very important component of the atmosphere. We need it, but yes, the level of CO2 must not be increasing too much. It will harm the human civilization. It will harm all the animal beings of the world to a great extent, and definitely the existence of the animals will be at stake. Okay, so this is the equation of photosynthesis. These are the raw materials that we need, and these are the products of photosynthesis. Okay, not only this, photosynthesis has some other importance also. By photosynthesis, the water is necessary for photosynthesis, as we have discussed earlier. A single molecule of glucose needs 6 molecules of water initially to produce. Clear? So water is necessary. The plants don't understand how much water I'm going to need. So plants most of the times absorb excess water from the ground, and the water that remains unused, the water that remains inside the plant body, that is excess, that is not necessary for the plant at all, that is given out. That is given out by the leaves, by the stomata of the leaves basically. That process of removal of moisture, the process of removal of water vapor from the stomata of the leaves is known as transpiration. And this transpiration so what is transpiration? Release of excess water from the stomata in gaseous state. Okay, so and this increases the humidity, this increases the amount of moisture in the atmosphere, and as a result of which rainfall occurs. And rainfall is necessary to provide water to the plants, to the organisms, to the fields, so that we can do cultivation. Not only for cultivation, this is necessary for the nourishment also. Like in all other, in all places we don't have rivers. So rivers cannot be sufficient enough to provide water to the vast, lithosphere. Lithosphere is basically the ground that we are living on. Atmosphere is basically the air that is surrounding the Earth's upper part, and hydrosphere is water. This is basically water resources. Okay, so the excess water that is absorbed by the plant before carrying out the process of photosynthesis are given out by the process of transpiration, and this helps in rainfall. And rainfall is necessary to prevent drought. If rainfall is not there, drought will be occurring due to lack of water, and definitely cultivation will be at stake. Right. So these are the this is basically the briefing of photosynthesis, and just let me show you statistics. By photosynthesis, more than 130 terawatts of energy are being absorbed by the plants. Okay, from plants, more than by the plants, more than 130 terawatts of energy of the sun rays being absorbed. Okay, so what is this terawatt? Because we very well know 1 terawatt is equal to 10 to the power 12 watts. Okay, so 130 into this much of solar energy, this much of solar energy is being trapped by the plants of Earth. Okay, and what does the watt mean? The watt means 1 watt is joule per second. So 1 watt is equal to 1 joule per second. That is absorbance of 1 joule of energy every second. So very clearly 130 into 10 to the power 12 watts. What does it mean? It means that 130 into 10 to the power 12 joules of energy can be absorbed by the plants every second.